Okay, let's deal with proportions. Proportions you'll see a lot in word problems, so we'll get to that later, but we're going to show you really quickly right now how to handle these. When you see a proportion, it's going to be a fraction equals a fraction. Now, there's an equal sign in between. You may have learned when you multiply fractions, you can cross cancel and cancel things out. That is not what we're doing here. Okay, so don't start canceling, like for example, if you had 3 over 2 equals 8 over 9, sorry, not equals, say that was like a multiplication. Well, that's when you go, well, 3 goes in there once and 3 times, and we start doing this. Okay, that's fine when you're multiplying. We're not multiplying. There's an equal sign. So please don't get those mixed up. That's not what we're doing here. When you have a fraction equals a fraction, we do something that we call cross multiplying. So what we can do is we multiply the corners. And when we do that, right here I have 3 times x, right? 3 times x, so I'm just going to write 3x equals, and I have 7 times 6, which is 42. Boom, I can solve the problem now. I'm going to divide each side by 3. Now watch how I do this. 3 goes into 4 how many times? Once. With how many left over? 1. How many times will 3 go into 12? 4 times. Yay, my x will equal 14. Okay? Now let's go over to this one right over here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do my cross multiplying to solve for x. Now, I have a negative 4x times 3. Remember, keep the sign going, and that's going to be a negative 12x. Okay, equals 5 times 12 would be 60. And so I have negative 12 equals 60. I divide each side by negative 12. There you go. X equals, don't forget the negative sign. Negative, how many times will 12 go into 60? It'll go 5 times. My answer is going to be negative 5. So all we do is cross multiply when we have fractions, okay? And so that's basically how it's done. I want to show you a couple more things real quick. I'll just go right over here. If you have a fraction that says negative 2/3, well, that's the same as negative 2 over 3, and that's the same as 2 over negative 3. All 3 of these mean the same thing. So don't get confused when you see something with a negative sign. Maybe they put the negative sign out in front. They don't put it on top or bottom. You can put it on either one. Just don't put it on both. Because remember, negative 2/3, cool. Negative 2 divided by 3, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. If you apply the negative sign to top and bottom, well, now you got a positive number. So this problem would have came out negative 5, whether that said negative 4 or negative 5, okay? So don't worry about that. Now, I want to show you what happens. Sometimes we have to use the distributive property, so let me show you how that works. Let me just erase the board real quick. Okay, let's take a look at the one I wrote over here. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our cross multiplying, but I have something in parentheses. Now, it may not be in parentheses. They could just write x plus 2. You're going to just assume it's there. So I'm going to get 5 parentheses, x plus 2 equals 80. Okay, so now make sure if there's an addition problem in any one of these numerators or denominators, it has to look like the distributive property. This would become 5x plus 10 equals 80. We're going to subtract 10 from both sides. Okay, they die. 5x equals 70. Divide each side by 5. Boom. X equals 5 goes into 7 once with 2 left over. 5 goes into 24 times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's do one with a subtraction. That one can be fun too. Ready? Let me do that. Okay, let's look at this one. So we're going to go ahead and do our cross multiplication. Now on that, the way it needs to look, I'm going to write the negative 2 parentheses x plus 4 equals 8 times 7 is 56. Okay, then I'm just going to solve this like a distributive property problem. Negative 2x minus, that's an ugly x, negative 2x minus 8 equals 56. I want to get the letter by itself, so I'm going to move the number over there. I'm just rearranging furniture. So I'm going to go plus 8 here. I'm going to go plus 8 here. Boom, die. Negative 2x equals 56 plus 8, which is 64. And now I'm going to divide each side by what? By 2? No, by negative 2, because we have to keep that negative going. They go away, and we have x equals, well, 2 will go, the answer is negative, because it's positive divided by a negative. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 4 twice. And we have our answer. Okay, so do a few problems on your own. You'll feel real comfortable once you do them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do proportion problems.